And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We are going back to Dunwich Legacy. And man, do we need to turn this ship around. And I said ship with a P, I promise. Yeah, last two scenarios. Bit of bad luck in scenario three. Was really happy with that though. That was a fun little playthrough. Not so much with the the Essex County Express with our friend Calvin. That was an unfortunate showing, and just a couple of cards that made that pretty impossible. It can be a pretty swingy scenario with the return to changes, as I bemoaned my fate last week, so I will spare any more whining this week. And let's get into the blood on the altar. Quick housekeeping. First time here, we are on a 25-second delay, so everything you are seeing happened 25 seconds in the past. That usually works out fine. I will be moderating the chat myself. Mrs. Playthroughs had an obligation with the kiddo, so she might join us a little bit later, but I think we can do this one by with just me. So we're going to try that out for size, but please, any question, comments, epiphanies, things I'm doing wrong, please point it out in the chat so I can take a look at that and make sure we're getting this as up to snuff as possible. Where do I want to start? Let's start with the scenario setup. I'll read the agenda and the act just to kind of see where we're at. Okay, again, what happened? Wendy went to the university. Great success there. Ashcan Pete crushed it in the casino. William died in the museum. Calvin died on the train because he died. Hey, what's up, Tom? How are you doing, man? Good to see you. Thanks for saying hi. What happened with Calvin? Well, since we died on the train, Calvin got thrown off. We've somehow, the survivor class has somehow survived, but we did lose Armitage. We lost Rice. So they were both kidnapped, and now we're going to Dunwich on foot, so we're delayed. So since we're delayed, we have to put a doom on the agenda to start the game. So there'll be one doom on agenda one, and we also got another weakness because clearly the two weaknesses we had weren't enough. We've also added a -3 to the chaos bag. So the chaos bag now has 17 tokens. We start the campaign with 15. We added a tablet because of the museum and the resolution that we had there, and now that was 16, and then the 17th token is another -3, right? So things are are looking bleaker and bleaker. So I'm entering this scenario with 0 allies because I just kind of went an ally strategy to get all the Dunwich allies, but I lost them all. Hopefully we win this scenario, and maybe we can get some back if we save them from being sacrificed to the very hungry Seth Bishop, who hopefully we will discover before I die as Rita Young. All right, so Agenda 1, Strange Disappearances. Your welcome in Dunwich has been cold. A string of disappearances has left the already aloof townsfolk on edge. Most of them look at you with distrust, and few are willing to help in your investigation. Who knows what will happen if you don't find the location of the missing townsfolk soon. Dun, dun, dun. And then the act is searching for answers. The disappearance in town may be related to the events in Arkham. You would suspect that something awful is afoot. You must find where the missing townsfolk are being held in order to unveil the conspiracy. If we enter the hidden chamber, we must advance. Now, who are these hidden townsfolk? Well, we have 5. We have, again, Armitage was kidnapped, Morgan was kidnapped after scenario 2, and Rice was kidnapped as well. Again, these two were kidnapped because of the train, as I already said. Zebulon Whately and Earl Sawyer were also kidnapped. They were gracious enough to host us, but again, we woke up, and I believe the story is we woke up and they were gone. So we're going to have a pool of potential sacrifices. I'm going to shuffle these guys up and just put them off to the side with a die on it, and we'll randomize that as we go. I'm going to take these 17 tokens, put it in my chaos bag, get that set, and go from there. I'm going to throw a token at me. It was a skull. Just throw a skull on my chest. That's a good idea. We're going to put that first doom on the agenda. And now, because we never saved Peter Clover in the casino, we had to get Naomi's crew. That encounter set, unlike the rules for the regular Dunwich, in the return to, it tells you don't shuffle these into the encounter deck right away. And it makes sense why they did that. I appreciate that. So we're going to put these aside along with 2 copies of a new card that comes with the return to. You can tell by that blacked out symbol. This is the hired gun. Very interesting enemy that we will have to face There will be there's only one encounter set that is replaced by the return to cards. The ancient evils is replaced by the resurgent evils. And again, I like to, when there's that situation, I shuffle all of those cards together and I just take half of them. So I'm going to take these 6 cards and we're going to put 3 of them into our encounter set. My encounter set, other than those 3 cards, which I'm going to add, is pretty shuffled up. I did a warm-up game before we're going to film this, or stream this, I should say. There are a ton of cards that come with the blood on the altar scenario just to begin with. In addition, we have 4 cards from the Dunwich encounter set. We have 4 cards from the Night Gaunt encounter set. And we have... Is that? Yeah, and then the 5 Whippoorwills, because clearly our lives needed some more Whippoorwills. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle this up. Again, it's already pretty shuffled, so I'm not going to go too nuts here. All right, that should do. And we're going to take 3 of these cards off the top. And I'm going to put it with the hidden chamber, which I'll put face down, and the key to the chamber, which I'll also put face down. And I'm going to put the encounter deck over to the side for now. All right, let me shuffle this up real quick, and we'll put that there. Now, the return to gives you an additional location for all the locations in play. There is also a new village commons. So we're going to take the old village commons out of the game. We have the new village commons, and it says silent decay. It is hard to prevent the impression of a faint, malign odor about the village street, as of the masked mold and decay of centuries. H.P. Lovecraft, the Dunwich horror. Dun, dun, dun. Cool. So that is a shroud value of a 3, a clue value of a 0, and Rita is going to start there. It says each investigator at Village Commons cannot take draw, speaking is hard, or resource action, speaking really is hard. And then there's a resign ability on there. This is suicide. We're better off hiding out for the night. All right, let's not use that resign ability. Now, the other 6, these are arranged in a circle that would be connected, but that's going to get messed with because we're going to take one of these out of the game at random. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right off the bat instead of, they tell you to take 2 of each location out and then take 1 away. I'm just going to take 1 out right out of the game because there's no point to doing it the way they tell you to do it. So we'll make this number, we'll go like a clock. This is number 1, that's number 6. Yeah, I rolled a 6, so the schoolhouse is out. Now, the additional return to locations do mess with some mechanics. There's a lot of new finicky rules that you are going to want to read every card closely. Make sure you understand what's going on and make sure that you're not breaking any rules. I'm assure you I'll probably break at least 1 before this playthrough is over because that's what I do. So 1, 2, right. So I'm going to take these 3 cards, shuffle them a little bit, and then I'm going to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to do the same process for each of the 5 locations that are remaining. We're just randomizing the locations. Again, adding the return tos really try to add to the variability. Not so sure this was necessary, but you know, some of the benefits in the locations are actually helpful. Most of them are not, and just make you have 1 more rule to remember, which is fine. Done. But I do, again, that aside, I really do like the only return to that I don't like the changes they made in Return to Dunwich Legacy is the train, and for the reasons that I already again bemoaned last week. That's fine. So we have these 5 cards to decide. I'm going to take one of these is the hidden chamber, one of these is the secret key, and I'm going to take the 3 cards that I added to it, and we're going to put one of these underneath each of the locations that is not named the Village Commons. Right. So I'm going to roll a die. Number 3 is going to go there. And number 2 is going to go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. And bing. So now we're kind of on a seek mission. We need to find the secret chamber and the hidden key. Obviously, guess what? The hidden key, or not the hidden key, is it the hidden key? Maybe. Opens up the secret chamber. Ooh, who would have thunk? So we're going to need to find both of those, and we will have a 40% chance of finding one and then a 25% chance of finding the other as this scenario progresses. Now that that process is done, we're going to take one of the hired guns. It's going to go on a location that is not connected to Village Commons. So what is not connected to Village Commons? So the Village Commons has the cross. So House in the Reeds is not connected to Village Commons. Congregational Church is. Burned Ruins is not. Bishop's Brook is. Osborne General Store is not. Now I want to find a circle pattern that I can potentially go from location to location to location. Might not be possible. Now we took out House in the Reeds, right? So let me. Can I go House in the Reeds, Congregational Church, to Burn Ruins, to Bishop's Brook, to Osborne? Yes, I can do that. So I'm going to put this in Osborne General Store, and I'm going to plan to go. Well, that's not connected. That's funny. That's actually not connected to Village Commons, which is not as helpful, but I'm going to be stuck either way. So what I'll probably do is I'll go to Congregational Church first, go up to House in the Reeds, and then try to work around in the circle, and that will give me ample time to kind of figure out how I want to deal with the hired gun. Now, while the hired gun is in play, it's important that each copy of Hunted Down gains Peril and Surge. So that means if I pull Hunted Down, which again is from the Naomi's Crew encounter set, I will have to draw another card. So I need to remember that as long as this guy's alive or his twin brother's alive. And then each criminal enemy gains Hunter, Prey, most resources. That's not going to matter as much. I mean, Prey is not going to really matter as much in a true solo game as it might in another kind of game, right? So I'm going to take these 7 cards, and they're going to get shuffled into the encounter deck. So we're going to take the other. Do I have this? Yep, had that the right direction. The other hired gun, gold jammed in there, and then the 6 cards from the Naomi's Crew encounter set. Now, had we saved Peter Clover, which I've only done twice in my life, we would not have to worry about this, but alas. It is what it be, and now we will have to deal with some criminal enemies. Cool. So setup is done with the scenario, and we can get into talking about Rita Young. Now, look, I was never very impressed with Rita Young, but she has won over my heart in the last in the last couple of days because I've had some very, very fun scenarios with Rita getting up to this point in the campaign. Now, again, I've still used the story that we already built, but I had a lot of fun with Rita through scenarios 3, 4, and 5, and seeing some of her strengths come out has been very, very cool. So Rita is the athlete. Story time with Greg. Clocks do not lie. In the past, people have said hurtful things to Rita. They have threatened her, deemed her inferior. But ever since she started running competitively, Rita has only cared about the clock. The clock says that Rita is faster than the rest. It says she is stronger and has trained harder. Now she may have to fight for her life. Someone is after her. That much she's sure of. She has no idea who it is or why they want her, but there have been several strange men hanging around her dorm. They plan to make an example of her, but they will have to catch her, and the clock says they cannot. One part of Rita that I think is important, I don't know why they don't make it more explicit in the design, but having read the Arkham Investigator's coffee table book, Rita is a black athlete in 1920s Massachusetts at a university at a time where racism was especially rampant in that part of the country. So in her story in the Arkham Investigator's book, she is literally being chased by men in hoods and clearly representing the KKK. Her special weakness is called hoods. So there is definitely a large part of the lore about Rita is her being a woman. Yeah, maybe. What's up, Brian? How are you, man? Thanks for joining. I've heard really good things about Marvel. I don't think I can bite off 2 LCGs because it's expensive. I mean, thank you, Fantasy Flight. So there's a large part of the lore about Rita, which her race is a big part of her as a character. Again, she's a black woman in the 1920s, Massachusetts, who has a scholarship to go to Miskatonic University, where she's one of the few black students. And while she's on campus, she is definitely running for her life, at least in the Arkham Investigator's book, from people who are clearly representing the KKK. So it's a very interesting part of her that as I pull hoods, it just adds a wrinkle to her story and what's going on, and then the dovetail between the cultists and the racism and all of that. And again, Lovecraft, pretty commonly known to be a pretty major racist at the time, and trying to how you deal with Lovecraft in 2021, knowing that it's an interesting conversations to be had there. Which that's for another time, another place. Just wanted to mention that just to kind of as we talk about this character. The quote on here is, "You got a home to pick, you got a bone to pick. Fine by me. I don't need your permission to leave you in the dust." Rita is starting with 2 damage. I got 1 physical trauma from the Miskatonic Museum, again with William Yorick. I got 1 physical trauma. I died by both trauma and horror. The conductor whacked Calvin really good, so I got to choose. Considering I had Rita coming up and I have Silas not too far away, it felt better to take the physical trauma. So I have 2 physical trauma and no mental trauma coming into this, which is especially important since I have 0 in the way of soaks because I don't have any allies, right? So again, if there is an argument that I could have built this deck with Peter, it is what it is. I didn't. I probably should have. It is what it is. By the time I realized that, I was a couple scenarios in and didn't feel like spending the XP to pick up a level 0 card. Let's go through Rita's cards. So I have 3 weaknesses. I talked about hoods already. You damn cowards, always cover your faces. You're just like the damn clan, always too scared to let people see who you are. Graham McNeil, Ghouls of the Miskatonic. I have the Across Time and Space card, or Across Space and Time card. Discard the top 3 cards in my deck. Not always the worst thing, especially when you see my other weakness. Doomed! I picked up Doomed. Oh, Doomed. I am so... There is not a basic weakness in the game that gives me more pause than Doomed when I get it at the beginning of a campaign. For those who don't know, Doomed came with the Forgotten Age cycle. Doomed tells you that you are doomed. You get a card. If you pull it, you take a horror. If you get this card twice over the course of a campaign, the second time you get it, you remove it from your deck and you replace it with a Cursed Fate. If you get a Cursed Fate, if you pull a Cursed Fate from your deck twice during the course of the campaign, you take that away and you replace it with For the Bell Tolls. That's not good. So basically, you have this weird timer that if you pull your basic weakness 4 times in the campaign, you are no longer. I find that problematic as a design choice. Not obviously so bad here. I'm doing a class cycle. I'm only going to be playing Rita on camera today, and then I'll probably finish the campaign on my own. But by the time you get to scenarios 5, 6, 7, where this most likely happens, I mean, you could be in scenario 8, you pull that, and it's game over. I wish there was a way to deal with it. There's another campaign mode only weakness in the Forgotten Age, which I like a lot better. Gives a lot more interesting choice to the player, and isn't as just like, oh, you shuffled poorly 5 times, or got unlucky. Not even shuffled poorly, you got unlucky with shuffles 5 times in the campaign. You're done. I have gotten lucky so far that I've only pulled Doom once. So I still have Doomed in my deck, not a Cursed Fate. But we will we'll be able to deal with this one Doomed as we go. All right. That should be good. And then I talked about then my unique asset. So hold on one sec. Someone rang the doorbell. I need to text my neighbor, see if he can pick up a package for me. It's live, kids. Got a package. Cool. Sorry about that. We're done. All right. So I'm done running. So what's Rita's special ability? It's after she evades an enemy once per round, she can either deal a damage to that enemy or move to a connecting location, which is really nice. One of the reasons I did really well in Miskatonic Museum is because that ability to evade the hunting horror and move every round, it's like having 4 actions. It's a built-in Leo DeLuca in some scenarios. It's very, very strong. Or just the ability to do damage. Now, Rita doesn't do a lot of chunk damage unless you have like the fire axe or something like that. So she's like really just dinging. She's evading and doing damage at the same time. It's still very action efficient, so it's not as bad as some characters, but you're often only doing 1 damage at a time. All right, so we have that special ability. Her Elder Sign effect is +2 until the end of the round. Ignore the limit on the above ability. So the Elder Sign effect is kind of lame if you get lucky enough to pull it during an evasion attempt at the beginning of the round. Oh, nice! I can do 3 damage with 3 different evasion attempts. It could be cool, but there's some limits. And again, you can only evade if you're engaged. So It's not the greatest Elder Sign effect. It's a little wonky. But I'm Done Running is an interesting, unique weakness. Rita Young deck only, fast, play only during your turn, ready and engage all enemies in your location, and for the remainder of your turn, whenever you invade an enemy, instead of exhausting and disengaging from that enemy, you may deal it 1 damage instead. After all effects, other effects of the successful evasion still apply, which means you can, in theory, with 1 evasion, do 2 damage if you haven't used that ability yet. So there's some again, it's interesting, but you're still like doing 1 damage at a time kind of thing, and you can get in some weird scenarios where it's like, oh wait, you have to kind of think through. All right, I'm engaged with 2 enemies. How do I want to play this out, etc., etc. But it's not the worst card ever. Great. Let's go into the how I build this deck. So here are my Zealot cards. Again, I have 2 copies of Guts, an Overpower, Unexpected Courage. I have a Knife. I have an Emergency Catch. Those are my neutral cards from the Knight of the Zealot campaign. And then we have a copy of Lucky, copy of Look What I Found. Our Dunwich cards, Fine Clothes, can never go wrong with some fine clothes. Again, nice cheap asset, a little bit of a soak, can really help. We have a Fire Axe, and then Rita builds her deck with survivor cards and then trick cards level 0 to 3. A lot of the trick cards are rogue, so I do have 3 green cards in here, I think, 3 rogue cards. Maybe I'm down to, no, I have 3. So this trick card is really cool. Play when an enemy would spawn at your location, immediately move to a connecting location. Now, if an enemy is going to spawn in your threat area, that is in your location. So if I pull an enemy from the deck, which I don't want to deal with, I could just say, all right, I'm going to spawn at my location and I'm going to move. It's got a very, very flexible card that can come in pretty huge. We have our Carcosa cards, Desperate Search. I will probably be at 3 sanity or less at some point pretty soon, and finding ways to get clues, because my stat line is a 3-2-3-5. So finding ways to get clues. My intellect being only a 2 is really helpful. Being able to make my intellect a 6 for a search, for an investigation, can come really become really important. The rest of my cards are all survivor from Carcosa. We have Waylay, can come in massive for Rita. So choose an exhausted non-elite enemy at your location and test agility, where X is the enemy's evade value. So agility X, if you succeed, defeat that enemy. Very, very cool card. Gravedigger's Shovel. 2 copies of Resourceful. It's again one of the few cards I take 2 copies of. I think I only have 2 copies of Resourceful and 2 copies of Guts. Not Without a Fight is a really cool card. If you're engaged with an enemy, you're effectively either getting 2 willpower, 2 combat, or 2 agility. And then we have our teddy bear, because who doesn't want their teddy bear? From Forgotten Age, we have Winging It and Live and Learn, cards you should be familiar with by now, considering this is the 5th scenario in the campaign, and I think I've taken them every time. Belly of the Beast is a really nice card with Leela. Fast, play after you successfully evade an enemy by 2 or more. Discover 1 clue at that enemy's location. Again, finding ways to just get clues here and there is hugely helpful. Trial by Fire. Fast, play only during your turn. Choose 1 of your skills and set the base value of that skill to 5. I have another trick card. Now this comes from the Circle Undone campaign. No, sorry, this is Circle Undone. This is from the Dream Eaters campaign. We have Investigate, add your agility value to your skill value for this investigation. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may automatically evade an enemy at the location, and it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. Now it does cost 2, but again, finding ways to get clues is really important. We have 1 copy of Old Keyring. We have Sneak By. It's another trick card, another rogue trick card. It's an event. When this action begins, gain 2 resources. What did I spend all of my XP on? Good question. Glad you asked. So we have 1 copy of Sharp Vision, 1 copy of Brute Force, 1 copy of Alter Fate. Love that card. 1 copy of A Test of Will. I did exile it, and like I did again, I played it out the same way. So I counted myself. I dinged myself in XP because I exiled it and then rebought it back. And then Will to Survive. Really huge card. You get it in the right moment. Costs 4, so it's expensive, but it costs 3 XP as well. But fast, play only during your turn. Until the end of your turn, do not reveal any Chaos tokens. So you don't automatically succeed. If I have a 2 intellect against a 4 shroud and I play Will to Survive, well, I'm still going to have to find a way to get up to that shroud level with other icons from other cards, but not having to pull tokens from the bag and to limit some of that randomness is really nice. So overall, is it the greatest deck ever built? Nope. Since I knew I was going to lose Armitage and Rice, again, I probably should have put an ally or two in there. But the way I play Dunwich, I like to let my allies come from the story assets and not have my deck crammed with a bunch of allies. But, you know, it is what it is. I do have 1 XP left to spend. I did not spend the 1 XP I got in between scenarios 4 and 5, or actually scenario 3 and 4, because the way they do the numbering is weird in Dunwich. I've said that before. But ultimately, I think we got a good shot. You really learn the power of evade when you play Rita more and more. It's a very, very underrated skill for most beginner players. I have rambled on, and here we are. How far are we? I don't know. I can look, but we're good. I think we're 20 minutes in, 15 minutes in, 26. All right, that's fine. Lot to say, man. It's a lot of cool things going on. I am excited. Let's pull our opening hand. What do I got? I got breaking and entering. Can come in handy. Nice way to get myself an intellect of a 7 for one investigation. Fire axe. Hello. Big fan of that. Waylay. Look what I found. Not bad. And live and learn. All good cards. Yikes. I'm going to take Fire Axe because I'm going to want some ability to do some damage. I'm going to take Look What I Found because it's really important. I think. And those are really good. Those are really good. I'm going to take, I want some more skill cards and I don't have any. So I'm going to put these 3 back and let's go from there. And also, like, if I can get the old key ring, that'd be nice. And then get resourceful back, get the old key ring cycled in again. That'd be really good. So the new 3, Desperate Search, a little unfortunate and don't have 2 horror yet. And Trial by Fire and my teddy bear. Okay. That could work. Of course, I'm going to want to take some horror on me to use Desperate Search. So the teddy bear this early might not be the greatest thing, but that's fine. So what are we going to do? I'm going to put my first action, my Fire Axe, in play. If you have no resources in your resource pool, this attack deals +1 damage. And during an attack, I can spend 1 resource to increase the... I can get +2 combat for the skill test. It's really nice with Rita because she's coming in at a 3, so it's only 1 resource, and all of a sudden I'm doing an attack at a 5. Again, if I still have other resources, I'm only doing 1 damage, but if I can do an evasion and then spend a resource and get another damage, it's there's things that can go well by doing things a little bit more efficiently, right? So I'm going to spend the 1 resource for the Fire Axe. My second action is I'm going to move to the Congregational Church. I myself did not more than a fortnight ago catch a very plain discourse of evil powers in the hill behind my house, wherein there was a rattling and rolling, groaning, screeching, and hissing, such as no thing of this earth could raise up. Alright, what is it? It is one of the originals. Choose and discard a card from your hand, gain 2 resources. You can do that as an action, not the most awful idea. And then there is 1 clue there. If there are no clues there, draw the encounter card underneath. Right, so as a triggered ability, once I get that clue, and hopefully I can find a way to get that clue, maybe, once I get that clue, what I can do is, I don't have to, but I may choose to trigger that ability to draw that card. Right, and we know that it's not going to be a mobster, so that's helpful. But there are many other things it could be, including night gaunts, those silly, silly night gaunts. So that was my second action to go there. I am going to go up to the house in the reeds. From here, remember that these are not connected. So this hired gun's going to have to go a long way around before he's going to find me. So I'm going to move here. Let's see what's going on here. And now once I'm there, I can just plan on doing a circle all the way around and try to get those clues as they go. While you are in the house in the reeds, you cannot play events. All right, this is one of the originals as well. Shroud value is a 2. Clue value is a 1. And same triggered ability. All the locations will have that. The flavor text on the unrevealed side of this says, even the locals stay away. Even the locals stay away from this half-sunken hovel. Well, that's fine. I gotta find the people who are about to be sacrificed. Clearly, it is my duty in life. We are going to go to the enemy phase. The hired gun is going to trigger. The hired gun is moving here. Upkeep phase, we're drawing a card. It's not without a fight. We're taking a resource. Man, you know what I could do? I could do trial by fire. Get my intellect up to a 5. Investigate, move, investigate. That might be some really good use of that card. Yeah. All right, I like that. So we're putting a Doom on the agenda. It's a second Doom on the agenda. Remember, we started with 1 because we were delayed because we crashed in the train, and we now draw the top encounter card. Ugh. All right, on Wings of Darkness, if you fail, it's an agility test 4. If you fail, take 1 damage and 1 horror, and then you would have to be moved to a central location. The only central location on the board is the... Oh man, I mean, it's not the worst. Yeah, it's not the worst thing that can happen. But yeah, so I'm doing a 5 to a 4. Skulls. I mean, you can see it on the screen. Skulls are -1 for each location in play with no encounter card. That is the only location I play with that on the encounter card. So skulls are a -1. Cultists would be really bad because adding more clues would be a problemo. But I don't want to use. I really don't want to use not without a fight for this. So 5 to a 4. Let's hopefully get lucky to start the game. A -3. Nope. All right, so a Night Gaunt picks me up and drops me off. I take a damage and a horror. And back to square one. Great. I'm going to play Cherish Keepsake. I'm going to move here, my second action. And my third action, I think we just go back to the original plan. As I will go, I can't play I can't play. Oh, good thing I can't play events there anyway because Trial by Fire is an event. So I need to actually start here if I'm going to do the clue move clue. Always thinking saved by an encounter card from making a mistake. And it also means I can't play Look What I Found there because that's also an event. Great. My next action, I'm going to draw a card and see. Yeah, let's start drawing cards. Oh, that's not good. I got hoods. This is why you don't want to draw a card in your third action when you have a bad enemy. Okay, so hoods are engaged with me. And now we go to the enemy phase. Well, Hunter keyword is going to trigger. And he's going to just go around this way. I'm going to get whacked by the hoods. The only good news here is I can get myself 3 sanity or less, but I take a damage and a horror. This might be a short night. Hoods. I'm finding more and more that when your unique weakness is an enemy, it's just that much harder. And I found that with William Yorick and the Graveyard Ghouls, and hoods I think is especially nasty. So hoods are, after you evade them, they attack you. So I do have the fire action play. I really might burn through all that. Yeah, I might burn through it just to get rid of them next turn. I don't think it makes sense to save this money here. But that means I won't have the 3 resources of Trial by Fire. Ugh. It's really bad. Well, I could do some other things here. All right, I got some thinking to do. All right, so enemy phase is done. Upkeep phase, I'm drawing a card. It's guts. I'm taking a resource. Mythos phase, third doom on the agenda. Top encounter card is a whippoorwill. Whippoorwills are annoying. They are aloof. They are hunters. Each investigator at a whippoorwill's location gets -1 to all of their skills, which is super fun. Super, super fun. Of course, now this guy is right there, so he's going to be on top of us. Force after you evade it, it attacks you. Dead by then. No, I think I spend everything. This would be interesting. I'm trying to figure out how, because I want to end my turn there, and I want to use trial by fire. That's super annoying. All right, here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to spend 3 for trial by fire. I'm going to increase my intellect. Now that's fast, and I can play events here, which is fine. So I'm going to make my intellect a base of a 5. Why? I know, it's bananas. We're good. Now going to, with my first action, I'm going to spend these 3 to make my combat a 9. It becomes an 8 because of the Whippoorwill. I'm doing an 8 to a 3 for 2 damage because I have no more resources. I'm hoping this works. Tentacles right now would be really bad. 0. Awesome. So I have 2 damage to the hoods. My second action, I'm going to evade them. I have a 5 to a 3 becomes a 4 to a 3. I'm going to commit not without a fight, and that gives me 2 more agility icons. One, it's a skill card, so I get that agility icon, and then because I'm engaged with one enemy, I get an additional willpower, combat, or agility, so I get 2 agility icons. So that gives me a 7 to a 3, 6 to a 3 because of the Whippoorwill. I am going to need to win this. Alright. Dang. I pulled a skull. It's a -1 because I only have one location that has no yeah, that's fine. So they both say, so after I evade it attacks me, or after I evade I can deal a damage. I'm going to deal a damage, and then that's going to kill it, so it will not be around any longer to attack me, which is why I wanted to do that. So I use my special ability this round. I can't do that again. Hoods is super dead. Not without a fight was committed, so that would go there. He's defeated, then you, after the skill test, then you discard that. Not that it matters too much. And now I have one more action. Try to kill the Whippoorwill. Yeah, because the Whippoorwill's going to be super annoying to deal with. I have no clues. Yeah, I'm going to get whacked by the hired gun. I don't think I have a choice here. Because moving is not going to do anything. The Whippoorwill's still going to be a problem. I can get to a 5 to a 2. Because if I investigate there to try to make use of the increased intellect, so I didn't think this out totally. Really, you know what? Let's pretend I thought this out right. I'm gonna make that a combat, and so I had like a million to or whatever. Yeah, that would have made more sense because if I made that combat base 5, I could have just done combat twice, and now I'll do another combat against the Whippoorwill, and I'm doing a 5 to a 2. The -1 because the Whippoorwill makes it a 4 to a 2, even in the combat against the Whippoorwill. And I'm going to try to take care of that because that could be really annoying if that's still around the rest of the scenario. I pulled an Elder Sign. Great. So the Whippoorwill is dead. So I did combat, evade, combat, or combat, however you want to think about it. Ultimately, I ended up killing the hoods. I killed the Whippoorwill, and now taking care of the Whippoorwills when you can is pretty important. And now we go to the enemy phase. Hired gun comes in, it engages with me. It's going to give me a damage and a horror. Put 1 horror on the Cherished Keepsake, 1 damage on me, so I have only 4 health left. Upkeep phase, drawing a card. Resourceful, like to see that. Taking a resource. One nice thing about Congregational Church is that, again, I could discard a card from my hand and get 2 resources. I might actually be doing that. Maybe not. Mythos phase. 4th doom on the agenda. We get an encounter card. What is it? It is it's a mobster. This is going swimmingly well, guys. All right, I'm going to try to evade the hired gun. I'm doing a 5 to a 4. I'm sorry, 5 to a 1. Whippoorwill's dead. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So 5 to a 1. I pulled a -3, so that succeeds. I'm going to use my special ability to give the hired gun damage. My second action is I'm going to spend a resource, my fire axe, to give myself a 5 to a 2. Do I want to commit resourceful? Are there any of these cards that I really want back in my hand right now? Not entirely. But I need to win this. Trial by fire could be helpful. So I'm going to commit resourceful. I'm doing a 6 to a 2 for 2 damage because I have no more resources. Bam! I pulled a -1, so the mobster is dead. Resourceful triggers. I take a card out of my discard pile. I will take trial by fire. And then my third action is I will... I'm going to investigate because I need to start getting some clues. I'm going to play Desperate Search. It's going to give me a 6 to a 2 for 1 clue. And I pulled a 0. I'm pulling really well, but overcommitting to cards. And I get a clue. Alright, enemy phase. The hired gun readies. I'm sorry, enemy phase, nothing. Upkeep phase, hired gun readies. He has 1 damage on him because I evaded him. We are going to draw a card. It is Guts. We take a resource. So I have 2 copies of Guts. I might actually discard 1 to get those 2 resources. We'll see. Mythos phase, 5th Doom on the agenda. That is correct. And drawing an encounter card. It is Eager for Death. Oh, jeez. I really wish I wish I had my test of will. So this is pretty brutal. Eager for Death is test 2 willpower. You increase the test difficulty by 1 for each damage on you. If you fail, you take 2 horror, which is just gross. So my current situation is I have 5 damage on me, so I'm doing a willpower test of a 7. I just can't beat that. So I'm taking 2 more horror, and I hope I don't pull a cultist because that would be pretty bad. I pulled a tentacles. Fine. I take 2 horror. My cherished keepsake is bye-bye, and I'll put a horror on me, and we'll go from there. Yeah, pulling hoods early is always it's always a problem. Let's see if we can't get on the better side of this. I'm going to do a 5 to a 1 with hired gun. I succeed. I'm going to trigger my special ability to do another damage to him. Trying to think what else I could have in my deck that might be a horror soak. This is not great. I'm going to pull this card as a fast action, so I still have 2 more actions. It is Kidnapped. Yikes. We are doing a test of a 5 to a 4 with agility or 5 to a 4 with willpower. And then Kidnap's really nasty. It's one of the reasons I don't go nuts trying to get a bunch of allies going into this scenario. If you fail, you add an ally asset you control to the pool of potential sacrifices. And then basically when the agenda advances, you'd be pulling 2 of these cards in under the agenda deck instead of 1, which means that they have been killed. Aloof, don't you need to... Oh, shoot! Steve! Oh, that's right. That's totally right. How do I rebuild that? Yeah, the Whippoorwill was aloof. I couldn't do that. I could not do that. Rethink that turn. Whippoorwill was aloof, so in order to do damage to it, I would have had to engage it. To evade an enemy, either take 1 damage. Yeah, I don't think that's possible to rebuild. Wouldn't have engaged it. What I probably would have done, and I'll just cost myself an action this turn, is what it is. What I probably would have done is moved. Just totally wasted trial by fire. But then the Whippoorwill would still be alive. That's really bad. That's really bad. Alright, let's say the Whippoorwill's still alive and I just took a... because I wouldn't have had the resource. I've evaded that thing successfully. Alright, so Whippoorwill's still alive and I just drew an extra card that turn. Right? Yeah. I've been crushing everything by plenty. So that's fine. Alright, so I just drew an extra card that turn. Great. So Whippoorwill's still alive. I'm still here. Yeah, because I definitely want to get through some of my cards here. So I'm doing a kidnapped as a test of a 4 to a 4 now. I do have lucky in my hand, so that's fine. So 4 to a 4. Can I get lucky? What do we get? Tablet, -2. Great, I'll play lucky because I don't want to take the 2 damage. So I played lucky and we succeeded on that. So it was a 4 to a 4. We succeeded with lucky, so that gets discarded and we're fine. Oh, right. So where are we at? Right, I did 1 action, now with a fast action. I still have 2 actions on this turn. Thank you, Steve. You're the best. I don't know how I'm going to get that. I mean, just not getting any of my clue cards. I still have 2 more actions. I'm going to move, and I'm going to draw a card. I need to get that old key ring, I think. Or I get a knife. Awesome. No, I don't want to move. Let me draw that card. And I had the fire axe. I'm going to discard the card and get 2 resources with my last action using the ability on the Congregational Church. This is not going well. Alright, enemy phase. Nothing. Upkeep phase. The hired gun readies. Mythos phase, or upkeep phase, I draw a card. Ooh, will to survive. I take a resource. That could be useful. Mythos phase, 6 doom on the agenda. And now... Whippoorwills gather along the gambrel roofs of Dunwich and begin to shriek in jubilation. The people of Dunwich believe that the presence of Whippoorwills foreshadows somebody's imminent death. Do they long for your death, or is the victim someone else? If there are 3 or more potential sacrifices, choose one of them at random and place it underneath the agenda deck without looking at it. So I'm going to roll a die, number 4. I rolled a 6. There's only 5 of them. This goes under the agenda. Bye-bye, whoever you are. I'm very sorry. The agenda 2. The old ones hunger. As the sun sets, the frightened townsfolk retreat into their homes and lock their doors. It is clear to you that many of them know more than they are letting on. A sickening feeling turns over in your stomach as the village's true nature becomes clear. Drawing an encounter card. What is it? Unhallowed Country. Put into your threat area. You cannot play ally assets and treat the printed text box of each ally asset you control as if it were blank. Who cares? I don't have any ally assets. But the problem is I will be having to draw a token. It's forced. And if I ever draw a cultist in trying to get rid of this, even though I really don't care about it, it will cause me to add another clue to the location, which is a problemo. Right, I'm trying to evade the hired gun. I'm doing a 5 to a 1. The Whippoorwill is still alive, so it's now a 4 to a 1. Cultist, skull, so it's -2 because there's 2 locations without a card under it. That succeeds. I'm going to use my special ability. Get the 3rd damage on the hired gun. Again, we're just kind of bleeding him slowly. Maybe now is the time to get rid of the Whippoorwill. Maybe? Sure. Better succeed, though. I really can't fail this. I'm going to engage Whippoorwill. Do this properly this time. The Whippoorwills can be super annoying. They are better to deal with if you can. And I'm going to spend the two resources I got last turn. So that makes it a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to a 2, 6 to a 2 because the Whippoorwill is super annoying and he's hard to say. And hopefully we can do the 1 damage to him. So I'm not doing 2 damage, but I only need to do 1 to the Whippoorwill. 6 to a 2 is 0. Whippoorwill is dead. Like he was supposed to be a while ago. Alright, Unhallowed Country. I'm going to test that. I'm going to commit Guts, make it a 5 to a 3. That's going to make me proof against occultist proof, I should say. I pulled a 0, so I succeeded. That goes away. I draw a card. Belly of the Beast. Ooh, that could be nice. That could be really nice. Cool. Enemy phase. Upkeep phase. The hired gun readies one more time. Upkeep phase for me. I draw a card. Oh, doomed. Yikes. I take 1 horror. This is not going to end well. And then this goes out of my deck. And then the annoying thing is if you have any kind of investigator, if you have doomed, you do not want any cards that shuffle your deck because when you advance to the next thing, it goes at the bottom of your deck. And if you shuffle your deck, guess what? Now it's in the middle. And guess what? You might advance 40% of the way toward your utter demise before you know it in one scenario, which can be really brutal. And I have 0 cushion left with horror. That's not good. I'm trying to think. I have 1. Yeah, it's going to make this really hard. Mythos phase. First doom on the second agenda. I draw Resurgent Evils. Place 1 doom in the agenda or draw the top 2 cards in the encounter deck. So it's Ancient Evils with a twist. I will add a doom to the top of the agenda. I cannot draw any more cards in my current situation. I'm going to use my first action to evade the hired gun and finally put him out of his misery. Bam! Oof, or not. Tentacles. Let's do it again! 5 to a 1. Sometimes. Alright, tablet. I succeed. If I was in a hidden chamber, I'd have to draw another card. I am not, so 1 damage to the hired gun. That guy's done. And now, if there was a clue there, I could play Belly of the Beast, because that still counts as an invasion, but there is not a clue there. Oh, that's an event, so I can't even play. I can't play that there, which is super bad. My third action, I'm going to move myself into the house in the reeds. All right, enemy phase, upkeep phase, drawing. There's no enemies on the board for once. Draw a card. Test of will could save the day and take a resource. Mythos phase, third doom. Drawing an encounter card. What is it? It is Ancient Evils. Add a doom, so it's Resurgent Evils, but the original version. So we're blowing through some doom. Awesome. All right, I'm going to... I need that clue. Really need that clue. And I don't know if Look What I Found makes sense. I mean, I'd be doing a 2 to a 2. The worst case scenario is I pull... Well, it's actually not that bad. All right, let's do this. I'm going to do a 2 to a 2. Give me a +1 or an Elder Sign or something good. Bam! Oh, -2. That's fine. I'm going to use Look What I Found. It only gets to half the benefit, but a lot of these locations are only 1 clue anyway, so that's fine. So Look What I Found says fast. Oh, I can't play events. That all was stupid. I would not have done that. So let me get those 2 resources back. I told you these nitpicky rules. I wouldn't have done that. I would not have done a 2 to a 2 if I remembered I can't play events. So we're gonna act like that never happened. What am I gonna do? And that means, so I'm kind of like, I haven't drawn a card yet. So I have all 3 of my actions. I'm gonna draw a card. 5, 6, 7. I have no more weaknesses on my deck other than the thing I put at the very bottom, right? So we know that. I can't even play Trial by Fire there. Worst case scenario is I pull that Cultist, so I'm like really not looking just to try to get super lucky here. I need skills. If I could, I mean, I guess I could commit Look What I Found, and then that would be a 2. And I just use it for its icons. That seems like such a waste. I'm going to draw another card, my second action. that's fine. I would have to do that. I would commit. Look what I found. I pulled the skull. I mean, is that right? I don't know. We'll just cancel the whole thing from before. So this first goal never happened. I committed. Look what I found. It gives me +2 icons. So 4 to a 2. I got a +1. So we get the skill. We get the clue the harder way. I will not pull that just yet in case it is a Night Gaunt. That's one of the few things in the deck that would give me horror in the enemy phase. Alright, so enemy phase comes and goes. Upkeep phase, I'm going to draw a card. It is my old keyring. Of course, it was the next card. And we take a resource. Mythos phase, 5th Doom on the agenda. We're going to draw an encounter card. Psychopomp's Song. Oh, do I hate this card. It's a surge and a peril added to your any investigator's threat area. When you take 1 or more damage, you take 2 additional. So basically 1 damage now becomes 3, which gets me up to 8. Unfortunately, I do have a way to deal with that, but that's a really gross card. It has a surge to Rotting Remains. Oh, so this could kill me. This could kill me. But I think I have to test it. I do have a test of will, but the problem with the test of will right now is trial by fire and will to survive only play on your turn. I'm gonna want, if I get that other card where it's like, what is it? Eager for Death again, that's really bad. Now it's interesting about Rotting Remains. So Rotting Remains is a card in the Striking Fear encounter set, but for some reason they gave you a new version of it for Blood on the Altar. I guess the real question is, do I commit Guts? Nah, I think I cancel it. I think I just gotta play this smart. So I'm gonna play Test of Will. I'm gonna cancel this. I'm not gonna risk dying. We'll figure out the rest later. So I cancel. So play when investigator your location draws a investigator at your location draws a non-weakness treachery card. Cancel the card's revelation effect. Exile a Test of Will. That is fine. I'm going to play Alter Fate for 1. It's fast. Choose and discard from play a non-weakness treachery that is not attached to an elite enemy. So Psychopomp's Song is gone. That's super dangerous. So I've done 2 fast things. I'm going to do this as a fast action. It is a Servant of Many Minds. Now these could have been helpful earlier. Servant of Many Minds, it spawns at any location. So it doesn't go in your threat area. Spawn instruction says any location. It has Retaliate. And after you defeat the Servant of Many Minds, you discover 1 clue at any location. I'm going to put it in Bishop's Brook. I have 3 actions left because I have done absolutely nothing. First action, I'm going to put the old keyring in play. And then my second action, well, let me not do that just yet. I'm going to move with my first action, move with my second action. I'm in the Burned Ruins. The flavor text on the back of the Burned Ruins. It is not reassuring to see on a closer glance that most of the houses are deserted and falling to ruin. Man, Dunwich is in disarray. So, oh. Really? Forced. After you successfully investigate Burned Ruins, take 1 damage. If there are no clues here, draw the encounter card underneath Burned Ruins. Group limit once per game. The problem is I've gotten unlucky in that I haven't found the secret chamber or the key. And now I'm at the Burned Ruins in a place that's going to give me 3 damage and I already have 5 and I have no soak. My warm-up game was super fun, guys. And it was hard, but it was great. This is not so fun. Wow. I'm going to play the old keyring with my third action. Mrs. Playthroughs is in the house, everyone. Look at that. Better late than never. You're about to see me not succeed. But that's the way this cycle's going right now. So yeah, we're in the Burned Ruins. Great. Woo! Alright. That's my whole turn, because the third action was the old keyring. The nice thing is, if you successfully investigate, it's a problem. If I use a Servant of Many Mouths, I can get a clue from there without triggering the 1 damage. But my real hope is that the 2 cards I need are there and there. Yeah, this is not going well. Alright, enemy phase. No enemies with Hunter keyword in play. Upkeep phase, I draw a card. Think on your feet could be useful. That could definitely be useful. Take a resource. Mythos phase. I'm putting the 6 Doom on the second agenda because we just blew through that agenda. And what does it say? More whippoorwills flock to Dunwich village as the night progresses. The other townsfolk, notoriously superstitious, are terrified by the bird's presence. With the doors around you shut and locked, you find yourself alone in the streets of Dunwich. If there are 2 or more potential sacrifices, choose one, blah, 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 blah. Another sacrifice. So I rolled a 5, not helpful. There's only 4. 1. Bing. This goes here. That is now another dead person. And we have 3 potential sacrifices left. What do we got here? Feed the beast. The rhythmic screeching of the whippoorwills fills the night. If the superstitions of Dunwich are correct, their song portends impending death. But for whom? Doom threshold is 7. Encounter card. What is that? Strange signs. Oh, man. This is so bad. Yeah, I'm going to have 4 clues on Burn Ruins. I just need that to not be a location I need. Or I need to get 17 Servant of Many Mouths. That's really bad. Alright, I'm going to test a 2 to a 3. I don't think that's going to go well. So strange sign, test 3. If you fail, add 1 clue from the token pool to your location. And I pulled a -2. So we're going to have 4 clues now on Burn Ruins. And again, every time I investigate, I take a damage. If I get something that gives me multiple clues in once, it's nice. Like if I do have my my 1 survivor card where it's if I succeed by 2, I get an additional clue. Yeah. Maybe Mrs. Playthroughs is my good luck charm, it seems. So we are going to my first action. We're going to move to Bishopsbrook. The flavor text says, 1 dreads to trust the tenebrous tunnel of the bridge, yet there is no way to avoid it. Shroud value 3, clue value 2. What is happening in this game, man? Like, again, it's another return to. Servant of Many Mouths engages me because he is not aloof, unlike the whippoorwill that I forgot before. After you reveal, you have to test for agility. This has 2 clues here. If you fail, take 2 damage. Yikes. 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 Well, I'm going to commit this. We're going to do a 7 to a 4. The skulls are -3. Man, I don't even think I can even try to get those 4 clues off the Burn Ruins. I think I just need to hope that the 2 cards I need are there and there. It just doesn't make any sense. So I just revealed Bishopsbrook, so I'm doing a 7 to a 4. I really like Sneak By, but obviously cannot afford to be reckless here. Ooh, -3. There you go. Brilliant. I'm brilliant. I tell you, so I passed that, so I don't take the 2 damage. Now we have the Servant of Many Mouths, and I have 2 actions left. I'm going to try to evade the Servant of Many Mouths. I'm evading a 5 to a 1. Succeeding by 2 would be nice. I did a -2. Yes, 3 to a 1. I succeed by 2. Evaded, triggering my special ability, which means I get to do a damage to this dude, and then I can play Belly of the Beast as a fast action. Play after you successfully evade an enemy by 2 or more. Gain a clue from that location. Nice. So that worked out. I have 1 more action. I need cushion. I'm going to draw a card. Resourceful. Nice. Enemy phase. The Servant of Many Mouths readies. Upkeep phase. I'm going to draw a card. Winging it is nice. Take a resource. Mythos phase. Doom. Counter card. Kidnapped. This would give me 2 damage. Which I could survive that. I ran over to use Test of Will. That's fine. I'm doing a... Is there anything in here that I would want? Should I commit Resourceful? I'd only be +2. Lucky could come in handy. Ooh, Cherish Keepsake. That probably be a very nice card. So I don't think it makes sense to use Think on my feet because again the night. Oh, like I could evade everything. Maybe that's not the worst. It's fine. I'm going to commit resourceful and think on my feet. So it's a 7 to a 4, and if I succeed, I'm going to get that cherished keepsake back because that horror is scaring me. Again, you can take any survivor card, not named resourceful. A -4 here would be super gross. A skull. So -1, 2, 3. I did succeed, just barely. Getting very fortunate there. Kidnapped is out, and then I'm going to get myself my teddy bear. Rita needs her teddy bear. Alright, cool. I'm going to now try to kill the servant of many mouths. It's a 5 to a 1. So I'm doing an evasion attempt. 5 to a 1. It's a skull, -3. I succeed. I'm going to do my special ability to give him a damage. And then, after you defeat the servant of many mouths, which I did through 2 evasions, he's very confused. I discover a clue at any location. I will discover a clue at the location I am on. I have 2 actions left. Need to get a teddy bear out because I need to get a teddy bear out. Sometimes you just need to get a teddy bear out. That's how that works. And then with my 3rd action, well, as a free action, I still have 1 action after this. I'm going to take this card. It is... Oh! It's a servant of many mouths. Gotta be kidding me. Alright, so that means... like, how? How? Like, seriously, the restricted exhibit was the last card of that deck, and the 2 cards I need are literally the last 2 cards of both those locations, which means that I've just found... I'm going to need to find every clue in this game, and I've gotten nowhere. I've gotten nowhere fast. Alright, I'm going to put him up there. So somehow I'm going to need to find a way to get all 4 of those clues without dying. What I really hope is that that's the key and that's the chamber. Because if that's the key, I can get the key and then come down to the chamber. If that's the chamber, I'm going to have to go back and forth on this, and that's just going to be really bad. Alright, I have 1 more action. That's so frustrating. I do have... Winging it will give me the ability to get 2 clues at once. There are ways. I'm going to kill this dude. That's going to give me a clue from there. I still have my old keyring. This is not good. I have 1 more action. I'm going to draw a card, and I know I can't get to the bottom of my deck because that would kill me. So, you know, but I'm running out of rounds too. Overpower. That's fine. Enemy phase. Upkeep phase. Drawing a card. Over brute force. I mean, these are cards I'm going to all need to save for the end of this scenario, just knowing what's coming up. Mythos phase, Doom, encounter card. It's a hunting night gaunt right after I got rid of Think on Your Feet, but I needed it. Wow. Is that connected to the village commons? It is not. The other problem that happens when you find the 2 locations you need last is now skulls are a -4, so they're already maxed out because I have 4 locations to play without cards under them. And that's bad against the night gaunt because if I pull a skull, the modifier is doubled, so it's a -8 modifier. I bade move. Could evade and move at the same time and then kill that guy with the fire axe. Doing a 5 to a 1. This is bad. 5 to a 1. Negative modifiers are doubled. I got a -1. It becomes a -2 because again, in an evasion attempt against the hunting night gaunt, you double the negative modifier. I'm going to evade him. I'm not going to do him a damage, but I'm going to use my special ability to move to a connecting location. I'm moving to Osborne's store. The servant of many mouths engages with me. This flips. Shroud value 2. You cannot gain resources while you are in Osborne's general store. Well, that's cheery. Why? I mean, I guess thematically I just keep spending my money because Rita wants to buy things while she's running for her life from monsters. That's what happens, kids. My second action, remember there's all one action, the evade and move. My second action, I'm going to use the fire axe, and I'm going to be doing a billion to a 3. Check the math, it's correct. -1, that's 2 damage because I have no more resources. That guy's dead. I can get a clue from wherever I want. Clearly, I need to get a clue from Burned Ruins because that's going to be a super problem for me. And now I'm investigating with the old keyring. So there's -2 shroud, so I'm doing a 2 to a 0. If I succeed, I just lose a clue. 2 to a 0, that's a -4. This is cool. So I modify down to a -2. However, that levels up to a 0 because you can't you can't get below 0 when you're ultimately determining your value. So I'm actually a 0 to a 0. I succeed. I lose one of my keys. I get this clue. I know this can't hurt me, so I'm going to reveal it. It is the key to the chamber. Very nice revelation. Take control to the key to the chamber. Okay. So I have 3 clues there. That's potentially 3 damage unless somehow winging it. Remember, winging it is its own action, so I can't lump together winging it and the old keyring for the same investigative action. Now, the good thing that we know is that when I get here, assuming I find a way to get these 3 clues, the hidden chamber is going to be right here. What it says in the key to the chamber is if the hidden chamber is connected to your location, attach the key to the chamber to the hidden chamber. Great. Enemy phase. This moves up. Upkeep, enemy phase is done and over. Upkeep phase, that dude readies. I never read the back of Osborne's store. From the air of hushed fright at Osborne's store, they knew something hideous had happened. Of course it did. Upkeep phase, I'm drawing a card. It is breaking and entering. That's nice. That could be really good. And taking a resource. Nope, I can't gain resources at the general store. Oh man, these rules. All these rules. All right, Shroud, third doom on the agenda. Drawing an encounter card. It is another hunting night gaunt. Are you freaking serious? I got the hunting night gaunt twins, guys. This is going well. And by well, I mean not well. Wow. Key. That doubling the modifier is what's got me worried. That's a problem. I'm doing a 5 to a 1. Again, the skulls are bad. I mean, you're doubling the negative modifier. So there's 2 -3s, there's a -4, there's a tentacles. That's 5. And then I think there's 2 skulls. And those are doubled. So I think there's 7 tokens I lose on. And now somehow I'm gonna need to do that twice. That's really just not good. I have no resources, otherwise I can do will to survive. Which wouldn't be the worst idea I've ever had. It doesn't make sense to commit 1 icon because we're doubling the negative modifier anyway, right? So a -2 I still win, a -3 I still lose. It doesn't matter if I make myself a 6 to a 1 as opposed to a 5 to a 1. All right. Yeah, I mean, I just gotta go for it at this point. So we're going to, yeah, I can't fight with the fire axe. I have no resources. A 3 to a 3 doesn't make any sense. I really need to save brute force, knowing how this scenario is going to have to end at this point. I'm wondering if I can somehow get the night gaunts on a wild goose chase. I don't think I will be able to, though. Yeah, I have a very narrow window of how I think I can pull this off, but it's gonna be tight. So we are doing a 5 to a 1. Get lucky! -1. That doubles to -2. I have evaded this dude, and I am going to use my special ability to move hither. This guy now engages with me. Yeah, I should have put that dude in my threat area. Sorry, I was still busy in shock. And I just liked having the night gaunts next to each other. They just liked each other so much. All right, what are we doing? I need sharp vision. The best way for me to get that last those 2 clues off there is sharp vision. Oh yeah, that's gonna be after I successfully investigate. Ugh. Like, this is the worst. This is again, it's another one of those like return to cards that it's like really, like it's so freaking brutal. Yeah, I take 2 damage. Oh, that's a problem. I need to find my fine clothes too. I need a lot of things, guys. I have 5 to a 1. Can I get lucky again? +1, so that negative modifier would double, positive modifier just stays. That's fine. And then with my third action, I'm going to move. I don't think I want to go right to the burned commons. No, I guess I will. Whatever. I go to the burned commons. So I evaded, moved, moved. So got a couple of nice chaos bag draws, and that's helpful. We're gonna ready both of those guys. We're gonna draw a card. It gets me my 8th card. Ooh, Gravedigger Shovel. Oh, that's nice. That's also just discover. That's fine. Take a resource. All right, I have some ideas. I promise I have 0 resources. I need to get my emergency catch out, and I'm running out of rounds. Ah, this is super bad. Trying to. Trying to piecemeal how I could potentially still pull this off with my current situation, and I actually have a very, very narrow window. Alright. Meatless phase. Doom, encounter card. Ah, it's a freaking Whippoorwill. God, I hate those things. Fine. Don't think I can. Keyring. I gotta get all 3 of those clues. That's bad. Super bad. Not gonna have. Oh, that could work. Yeah, that could definitely work. Alright, I'm going to do. Let's save me the money for having to put the Gravedigger Shovel out. That's fine. I'm going to do a investigation with a keyring. It's a 1 to a 2. It's a 1 to a 0 because I'm using the keyring because I -2 shroud. 1 to a 0. Oh, tentacles. What do we get this time? It's a 1 to a 0. Now, since I didn't succeed, I don't lose a key. So that's one of the reasons I like the keyring better than the the flashlight. So 1 to a 0 again. What do we get? -1. So I succeed. I lose a thing. Since I have no more keys, this goes away. I successfully investigated, so I take a damage. And I have 6 damage now. Alright, that's my second action, because I rolled really good. My third action is I'm going to move here. Enemy phase. This dude moves here. These two guys move here and here. Two more rounds of action. Actually a path, it's just insane. Discard that. Alright, I'm drawing a card. It's unexpected courage. I have to I take a resource. I have to discard down to 8. I'm gonna discard Trial by Fire, because I'm not gonna have the 3 resources to play that anyway. Alright, Mythos phase, 5th Doom on the agenda. Counter card, Hired Gun. Oh man, how the heck? I only have 1 more round of actions, so I'm literally looking at 6 actions. So, is that connected to that? That is, yeah, that's why they went there. That's really bad. That's just a bad draw. So he's in my threat area. Yeah, I can't do it. There's no way. It's a bad draw. If I didn't have the hired gun, I could discard winging it to get 2 resources. I could move, investigate. Oh, they're gonna give me 2 and 2. I could still take both of that though. Can't get rid of brute force. Yeah, that actually 2 clues on there. When did a clue get added? Something added a clue. Oh, I was there when that stupid, and I still haven't found sharp vision, which is totally obnoxious. That's the worst. Yeah, I'm gonna run out of turns. Gonna run out of turns. I'm not gonna get any of my dudes back. It's really unfortunate. So if I didn't get the hired gun, I get those 2 clues. I have an ability to do 6 damage to Seth Bishop in the hidden chamber. I would have, but I need to start doing it this turn. And I have winging. It's not in my discard pile. So getting winging in your discard pile early is really nice because then I can pull it up when I need it later. But this is not. I don't see how this is going to work. But we'll play out the string. I'm doing a 5 to a 1. Barm. I succeed. I'm going to move back here. Yeah, I'm going to spend a resource to play winging it. I'm doing a 1 to a 2 to a 1. I kind of want to fail, but just don't want to pull the the cultist is thing, so I did fail. And then I could play this from my discard pile with my last action. It is a 2 to a 1, and I'm going to commit unexpected courage, make it a 4 to a 1. This is for 2 clues, so I played in my discard pile. I'll commit breaking and entering, make it a 5 to a 1. Oh, wait. Village Commons is not connected to Burn Ruins. That's something I forgot. So 5 to a 1, minus 1. This gets shuffled into my deck. Oh, that's a problem, because now I have a Cursed Fate getting near the top again. Of course I do. But I get both those clues. Since I successfully investigated at the Burn Ruins, I take 1 damage. I get both these clues, and then I can reveal the card under it as a fast action. It's the Hidden Chamber, Shocker, and then if the Hidden Chamber is connected to your location, attach the key to the Hidden Chamber to the chamber. So it's not the hidden key, it's the key to the chamber, so that's all attached. So to make it more clear, I can just put this in here. And now, if I enter there, we advance. The enemy phase is going to trigger. Neither of these guys are connected, which is nice. So they're going to go to Congregational Church. Whippoorwill is going to follow me here. And then the hired gun's going to ready. I'm going to draw a card. We're going to take a resource. So it's winging it. And then Mythos phase, we put the 6 Doom on the agenda. Counter card. Servant of Many Mouths can go any empty location. That's where he spawns. My turn, my first action, I'm going to move into the Hidden Chamber. Searching for answers. When an investigator enters the Hidden Chamber, advance. We have some flavor text. You find your way into the Hidden Chamber where you believe the missing folk are being held, but the horrors that confront you there fray the edges of your sanity. Bound by chains in a secluded corner of the room is an unspeakable creature with the face of a man. It wheezes and wrestles to free itself as it notices your entrance. The many mouths covering the creature's body are covered in blood and gristles of meat as though it were feeding recently. With a hideous croak, the creature speaks with 7 mouths, Seth. Then it lurches forward as though to grab you, and several of its chains snap. Reveal each unrevealed location. There are none because I had to do this the hard way. Spawn the set aside Silas Bishop enemy in the Hidden Chamber. So Silas Bishop joins the fray. It has an attack value of a 3. It has a 6 health per investigator. It cannot make attacks of opportunity, but it will attack you in the enemy phase, and it also has 7 agility. The really insane thing here is that I could probably get 5 damage on it this round. I'm not going to be able to get the 6th. Again, it can't make attacks of opportunity, but remember, I only have 2 more actions with how this has played out. The flavor text on the last thing, the Chamber of the Beast. The pitiful beast lunges to grab you with slimy arms, its many jaws snapping in hunger. Killing it would be merciful. Perhaps there was something else to discover about the creature. So when you reveal the Hidden Chamber and the location from which it was drawn are connected. And when we advance, though, we're going to put all of the clues on the Hidden Chamber. So there's 2 ways to win this scenario now. There was 9 clues here total. So all the clues from the entire scenario go there. If we were able to get all 9 of these clues, we would advance, or we can kill Silas Bishop, and then we would advance that way. Again, he's massive, so he doesn't go in my threat area, but the reality is this game is over. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to get enough damage on him. We can try, though. We can try. I'm going to do a 6 to a 3 with brute force. If I win by 2, I get to do 3 damage to him. Fine. I'll make it an 8 to a 3. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 8 to a 3. If I win by 2, I get 3 damage. 8 to a 3. Bam! 0. So we do 3 damage. And then I will attack him with my fire axe with my last hope. It is a 5 to a 3. Rita doesn't know what else to do with herself. It's an 8 to a 3 with overpower. And we do this. -2, I succeed. Since I have no more resources, I do 2 damage. So here's Silas, 1 damage away from death. I have no more actions. I draw a card. Oh, I get across time and space. Discard the top 3 cards of your deck. There's sharp focus. There's my fine clothes. There is my I'm done running, and that's fine. What's going to happen next? Enemy phase. Whippoorwill comes in. These guys go here. Silas attacks me. I take 2 horror. 2 damage would kill me. And we are 1 measly damage away from winning. That's, yeah, that played out really weird. If I had one more round, one card that could have been really helpful is breaking and entering. I could have done an investigative action in the hidden chamber, which would have evaded Silas. And if Silas was evaded, then he wouldn't have attacked me in the upkeep phase, in the enemy phase, and then I would have been able to, if I got even 1 damage on him, you saw the cards in my hand between the fire axe and the brute force that would have been able to get me 5 damage in 1 round. So yeah, those scenarios where we saw this in the Miskatonic Museum, and you just see like Arkham's horror. It's called Arkham Horror for a reason, right? I guess it's a little cliche. If the locations are not where you want them to be, or if you get unlucky, right? If I was able to find the key to the chamber and the hidden chamber right off the bat, right? This whole thing plays out very differently. We withstood a lot of badness, and then we lost 2 rounds. I pulled Ancient Evils and Resurgent Evils, and when I pulled Resurgent Evils, I was not in a place where I could have chosen to pull the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. That would have been very, very unwise. But you see the power of Rita. I mean, it's cool the way she can just kind of move around the board, and just again, I went going here was smart because I was able to get the hunting night gaunts off my scent a little bit, but now I have the hired gun. Seeing how it played out, though, I don't. Other than if I knew if I had 1 more round, I would have taken more resources, come in here, evaded this dude, and after I evaded an enemy, I could have done damage. So I could have done this. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I could have played breaking and entering. That's a cool little synergy. Could have played breaking and entering, successfully investigated, and then after he's evaded, I could have done a damage to him, and then I would just have 1 more round to do 5 damage with, again, brute force and my fire axe. But again, just wasn't meant to be. Ran out of time. Took another damage. I don't know. This is the time if I'm playing on my own. It's like, all right, let's start this campaign again. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to probably just do a full reset with Patrice, and I'll just play it through once, and you'll just have to trust me, and because this is not a playable deck. That this is not having any allies to help us. I'm just going to start over with Patrice. We'll play the last 3 scenarios out with Patrice, and I'll play each scenario once. Whatever happens, and I'll build my deck accordingly. And I'll kind of give you the full rundown before we start Patrice in 4 weeks. But I don't see how I could. It's not viable to go through the rest of this campaign with 3 damage on you and no allies. Just not how this campaign works. Not in my experience, at the very least. So another disappointing night of Arkham. This one was fun though. I'm glad we got to see this play out. I'm glad it took some of the intrigue in this scenario really came to light. I got into an interesting discussion on my last Arkham video about, does playing this game true solo do justice to the design of the game? I think it does. It's a little higher variance. You're going to have days where cards aren't going your way and you're just, you're not going to be able to do anything with it, but that happens co-op too, right? So I don't think, I'm not going to read too much into that. That was a pretty brutal location for sure, but again, it can be a high variance game. Super fun though, good effort. Rita came 1 damage short. We will be back in 4 weeks with Patrice and a new journey. I'm gonna say the survivors didn't survive this time. It was very sad. We will thank them for their service. Come back with Patrice. She's an interesting one. Very, very strange survivory things going on with her. But then we get the Silas Marsh in scenario 7, and that excites me because I love that dude a whole lot. And finish us off with Stella Clark herself from one of the cards I had was from the Stella deck, I think. Sharp Vision. I think Sharp Vision might have been a Stella. No, it's the old Keyring, which is a great card. again, like it a lot more than Flashlight. But I'm rambling. Steve, it was rough. It was rough. It's all your fault for making me play by the rules and not kill the Whippoorwill when I tried to. But I think that was the best fix. Sorry for any confusion to anyone out there. But yeah, just putting the Whippoorwill back in play and just acting like I drew a card instead, I think would have been the only way I could have made that work. But that's, you're going to make mistakes in these games. Sometimes they help, sometimes they hurt. When a situation like that, just trying to reconstruct it in its entirety wouldn't have made any sense. If I play it myself, make a mistake like that, and I realize it, I might just reshuffle and restart. That's always another option. But that's it. But yeah, thank you again for the support of solo playthroughs. It's been a good couple of weeks around these parts. Excited for what is coming up. Check out on Sunday the first ever solo playthroughs patron challenge, and I'm getting first ever two spirit solo. Spirit Island is going to be on Sunday. On Wednesday of next week, the first ever patron challenge. I got a Minds Liberation scenario. So a couple of really good videos coming up. And it's going to be a good month. I love this schedule. Just filmed another Zeds for y'all. Freaking love that game. You're going to hear me gush about that game a lot. And I got some more things coming down the pipe. And hopefully by the next time you talk to me live, I might be the grand owner of Cloudspire and Too Many Bones, and I'm pretty excited about that. So again, keep the comments coming. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for your support, and until next time, happy gaming.